Welcome back to the channel. Hit subscribe here on FR UK Rugby. Leave your comment down below and yeah, give the video a thumbs up. I'm Tim, and that right there is a jersey commemorating the time England beat France at the Rugby World Cup. Well, England got to a final and lost, but we're focusing right now on the fact they managed to beat France. And one of the guys who wore that jersey that night, hello, Joe Worsley. Right, so we're going to look at the the strength. Well, there's a lot been said about the strengths of France. If there are any weaknesses, and how, if you were a coach or a player, you would go about trying to exploit them to win. So even though we're focused on French rugby here on this channel, Joe, you can be as proud an Englishman as you want and try and pick the bones out of this French team. Firstly, how did you manage to win in 07?
Sport's amazing, huh? Sometimes you can be badly prepared, and it comes down to engagement and just commitment on the day, and a team who had nothing to lose going out there and fighting. We were a little bit lucky at times, but we worked our asses off. We had a good pressure game, really simple game plan. Didn't expose ourselves to risk too much, and got to the final. It was an incredible World Cup. Incredible World Cup in terms of the opposite of the 4 years before, where we were prepared, we knew what we're doing. This one was different. There'd been chaos for 4 years. It was just one of those human moments where you get together and just enough's enough after the drubbing we took in the pool stages against South Africa. Enough's enough. Let's come out of this looking good, working hard, and at least holding our heads high through that. And look where it got us.
How far can like emotion and just that extra 5% of getting off the deck, making that hit, whatever, how much?
It's so important. It's so important. The motivation for the team is the most important thing. During a club season, how you maintain that motivation is vital. So you train always at high levels. You're playing as close to your maximum as you can. Obviously, you can't maintain that for the whole year, but for an international team in a World Cup, obviously the motivation's a little bit easier than a club game against some rubbish team from the lower in the league. But the motivation, nevertheless, is important, because the team could have just said sod it at that point. We're badly prepared and everyone's going to understand it. We bow out in the pool stages here, but they didn't. They're proud. They fought. We fought, and we got to where we got to. I must say, part of the other reason is some of the other teams maybe weren't as good as they are now. I think it's more of a now it'd be more difficult to do what we did, because nearly every team in the World Cup's capable of doing much more than they could then. Rugby's moved on a long way internationally since that point.
Do you think, when you look at this England team, just what we'll come to how you would try and find the weakness in this French side, but firstly, just and picking on that fundamental, when you look at this England team, do you think they're lacking anything in that collective motivation?
No, I think you saw in the Ireland game, they really go out there and fight. I'm not sure you could ever level it at any England team that go out there and don't give it and go for it.
Can I give you one example, Joe? And this was pointed out to me the other day. I didn't spot it at the time. When James Lowe busts through that Alex Mitchell tackle, Ollie Lawrence is the man inside him and never breaks out of a jog, even at the point when Lowe is in the process of shrugging Alex Mitchell off. There was never an alarm bell or a spark that went, I need to fight to get there. And I don't know, when I look at Ireland's tries, I think every single one of them was completely avoidable.
I only watched the game. I didn't really pick up on that watching the game live, but Ollie Lawrence has a reputation as a poor defender. I don't know enough about him to say if that's true or not. Maybe that's one area he'll look at post-match and be thinking, I did some amazing stuff in attack, but I could have done better there. But
it's just as you were saying it, it suddenly just rang in my mind. It's like, I don't know if there's some intangible behind the scenes, or whether they were just, that was 34 minutes into the game when that happened. Maybe the effort they'd already expended just meant they didn't have it in the tank.
Hopefully it was a one-off for him, but I don't know. But normally an England team, they're going to be giving you full beans, put it that way.
Well, as for France, what weaknesses do they have? We don't need to focus on the weaknesses and the limitations of the England team. They're man for man not as good as France, but where are the opportunities?
Okay, I think pressure game is going to be vital here. The kicking side of the game. Boros is injured. Incredible aerial player, one of the few in France. If he'd been playing against Africa in the World Cup, maybe they would have won that game. So the pressure game's going to be massive. I think with Freddie Stewart and the height they've got in the back line, that they're going to be peppering, whenever they get any kind of slow ball or exits, they're going to be peppering the French team, the back three, with high balls, because Ramos isn't great under that. I'm not sure the other winger's going to be now. Peno's right, he's not great, but that would be a real point at which they can create tries. Okay, field position tries from that kicking side of the game. Obviously, you're carrying a slight risk there if they do catch the ball, and the counter-attack chances they might have out the back would be deadly. But like I say, Boris isn't playing. If he was playing, they would probably be more reluctant, and it'd be less of a weapon. But that pressure kicking game is going to be vital, particularly contestable kicks.
A lot of England fans will sigh hearing that. I'm 100% for what it's worth, 100% on board with you. I think, like, you play this game 10 times, and if both teams play to their level, France win 8 times out of 10.
Yeah, because we get to, like, the second point here is, I won't go to defence, which you normally link up to that, but I go to the attack. Because if you do start forcing it and playing ball that's not any good, playing the wrong parts of the pitch, playing the wrong ball speed, then you're going to be exposing yourselves. They've got a number of very, very good jackalers. They can force turnovers, and when they force turnovers, that's when you're at most risk against a team that can completely shred you at that point. So that game management's vital. And yeah, it's depressing. I want to see the England team attacking, but a team that can attack, it's not. Oh, let's attack more. You have to take a decision to become an attacking team, but you have to develop the team to be able to do this. It's the technical abilities, how they run the line, the athletic abilities of the team, the people you've got. These things have to happen for your team to become one which can hold on to the ball for long periods, maintaining a ball speed at which you can carry on playing. I wouldn't have thought currently England would be able to do that against France well enough to do it like Ireland could do it, for example, when they're at their best. So I think as a result, they'll have to resort to a pressure and D game, which they did fantastically well against Ireland, basing their game on not exposing themselves. When we get the wrong ball, we're going to go for a kick option and then defend the hell out of it with the kind of commitment we saw them put in to the Ireland game.
A lot of people said that England looked like they were gassed out of the game, and it seems to be a constant trend where they fade in the final, in the last quarter of a match. However, on the flip side, is that a potential limitation of France? They are massive. They have got a huge pack. And now with the DuPont law having been tweaked, they can't just amble around in the middle of the pitch. If you move them around, they have to move. And would you, if you were England, keep the ball in play with those contestable kicks rather than giving them time to have a breather and go for a line-out?
Yeah, certainly. I think if another team's more powerful than you, the more the game stays with the ball in play, longer sequences of play, the more able your team is to act quickly at those moments and together. That's a competitive advantage over the opposition. Now, you could level at some of the French guys, that's the case, but the top 14 on average ball in play is for less time than the English Premiership, for example. But the English Premiership's more monotonous and the tempo's the same. The French League's different. The tempo's one point, and then suddenly it'll change up and go, which is how you see France play. It's why it's good fun watching them. It can just be tap, 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 bam, and then they go. And this is the problem defensively England will have. They keep the ball in play. The French will, at some point, there'll be a breakdown at which a turnover or a kick falls badly that they could have. So the more the ball's in play, the more chances of that happening. Less structure. Okay, and structure is something normally for England we find easier to maintain. But the French are going to be difficult to defend because the Irish team is very structured and organised. Lots of plays, intricate passing, done really well. They had huge pressure from the England team, which meant they created quite a few turnovers against Ireland, which is that first half especially. England played really well and created turnovers. But against France, it's going to be slightly different in that they won't be playing those structures. If they get fast ball, they're just going to boom, go for the space, be it wide, be it by the ruck, be it dink over the top. It's a different animal they're playing this weekend. They've got to be able to react to those moments as well. That when France get turnover, when France get a poor kick, when France get fast ball, it's how they chase their asses, work harder to reconnect, get the hit on, to get the structure back in place is going to be kind of the key point for that England team at the weekend.
Yeah, and I know the pressure manifests in penalties and errors quite a lot. Is there a way tactically that England can minimise that area? If you would like, you're a defence coach, but just on both sides of the ball, how what can England do?
But I think asking if they can keep the ball in play. I mean, the line out. But it depends who England pick for that one as well.
I think they'll probably pick Chesham. That's be my guess.
Yeah, with the back row as well. They're going to go for a back row with some because they haven't really got. They can't really compete at the line out either. If they compete with similar teams that they have.
What frustrated me that they didn't compete in the line out at all. Not even Itoje went up against Ireland. So they've got to try. I don't know. But then France are the best mauling team. Do you sacrifice that? But
yeah, but I think they're probably saying we probably won't win it in the air, so we'll force them to win it a certain part of the line out, which means the launch play out the backs can be more difficult to execute. I'd imagine they're going for that. But if you're picking a team that's not great in the line out, then you've got to keep the ball in play more. England I think England should keep the ball in play more, and they just got to play and maintain their structure. So they're the ones who create the turnovers, and they're the ones who win the penalties that get them into 22 and give them those opportunities to score. Whilst any time they turn it over, any time they make a mistake with a kick, any time France do make a half break, get an offload away, they got to be ready. They got to be ready to chase that down hard together to get back on top.
Thinking about what Ireland did, thinking about what South Africa have started doing. I'm just asking you this as a coach, just generally. What do you think the merits are of finishing with your strongest team and maybe stacking the bench with players that so that you have a stronger team on towards the end? Is that a trend that's starting to happen?
I think, yeah. Some front row. Some people leave the best front row to the end because sometimes the opposition will leave theirs and want to attack you near the end of the game when everyone's tired with the best scrum, for example. So I think for certain stationary set piece factors, it can be important. But your bench should be containing people who can either come on and maintain the amazing level you've been doing, or come on and be a different kind of player who can alter or speed up an aspect of your game.
Cyril Baille did that, for example, for France. Gross was brilliant, but Cyril Baille just added
comes
another
on.
dimension.
He'll overgrow. He'll add to offloading and their ability to play fast, be bigger because he's there on the pitch. I think with England, it's tough to say. Like the Randall they could bring on. Maybe does he speed the ball up? Mitchell's pretty good at that as well. Randall can speed up the play a bit, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, my suggestion for what it's worth about how England can tactically overcome France is pick Jacques Willis.
Jacques would be great. No, I think they better hope. Also, Jalibert could maybe try and do too much himself. That would be good as well. So if Jalibert managed to do that, and they put a huge amount of pressure on him, making sure they never get done his left foot step, maybe that could work.
You in an England back row, you'd sit around and, I mean, it would be your job. You would have been Brian Ashton or whichever coach it was. Clive Woodward would have come to you and said, "Joe, you are ending Dupont today. You are wherever he is." Can you man mark that guy?
I don't think you can, because if you rush in and try and smash him, he'll feel it coming, pop it off. Someone's in behind you or sidestep you. You'd have to get him at the moment he's receiving the ball or a moment he's exposed. That's for sure.
Is there a player like that where you've taken it like made it a personal mission to end them?
My job is normally to stop powerful ball carriers, to stop the opposition go forward. Dupont's somebody who profits from those moments. Those guys make those moments happen. So I stopped them happening, so he would have had less opportunities. And really, that's what England need to do. They need to stop those moments happening. So Dupont, Jalibert have a handful of opportunities as opposed to dozens. That's the key to it.
Right. What do you predict the result's going to be, Joe? We haven't seen any teams at this point.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think France by a couple of scores.
I really, heart and head, isn't it? I want England to do well. I think 20 points to 18.
To England?
I'm not saying who for.
Right, your comments down below. Give us the video a thumbs up. We'll see you on the next one.